Yeah, just get started. Well, all right. Where are we? There we are. Hi. Hey, welcome everybody. How you doing? Good to see you. What's going on? It's Monday. It certainly is. It's more of a Monday for some people than others. There's a whole lot of Monday going on today. I feel pretty good about it as an overall Monday. But this is, I mean, should I be deathly afraid? Should I be under my desk right now? Because technically speaking, I think, oh, this is just a big yellow something. Hold on. It's their graphic. Are we on the brink of war with China? I mean, it's a good question. Stankfield is asking Gordon Chang, who doesn't know shit about anything, it seems. Shemaine, you know it. Nugent is talking to Paulina, the woman who Republicans in Florida accuse of witchcraft, even though she won I guess she won Florida's 13th district, so that would be maybe that was it. You think the fact that you won there it is, Florida's 13th district, Paulina, a witch? May we burn her? There are ways of telling if she is a witch. What are they? Do they hurt? And then, of course, reporters who took Biden's jokes in stride at the White House Correspondents' Dinner are being criticized for not being assholes who can't take a joke. I don't know what the standard is these days, but it's adorable. And then, of course, I love the inside scoops. You guys know I love the inside stuff. Yeah, and who has more inside that they're afraid to show the outside than the mess and Debbie, who apparently understand that Joe Biden has a hidden motive for running in 2024. Obviously, communism. Which, you know what? I didn't even include it in this one, but I want to check something real quick because hi, chat room. Let's see. I have to go back to what I was watching before and then go down to, was it under watch? Did I put it under watch later or did I bother with that craziness? I feel like I did. No, I didn't. It's just in my history probably. Oh, maybe. Hold on. Nope. Yeah, it's not in the watch later. It's in, there we go. Oh, unavailable videos are hidden. That's very strange. So, let's see. Let's go to history. I should be able to find it there. Watch history. God forbid. Doobity-doo-doo. Whack a chick. Oh, here it is. Okay. Hold on. So, I don't know who. I don't know. It's hard to guess. Like who? I don't know who this dude is, but he's got a lot of subscribers. So you go, buddy. He's staying hydrated. That's the important thing. His name is Andy Frizella, and he's tatted up. He's butch and buff, and he's got a buffalo, an American buffalo bus. I don't know. Drift. I don't know if that's. Does Cenk Uygur have merch? Anyways, this guy, Biden caught. What does this mean for America? It was the top of this thing. Hold on. Let's see if the beginning of this. This is one of these guys. I just want to give you a tip into some of what we're hearing on the ground.
Did you notice what their slogan is?
Oh, this is on today's show. Did you notice what their slogan is? Meaning the Biden campaign, which is finish the job.
Who's that? Biden's?
Yeah.
No.
Finish the job. You mean finish the exact thing I've been telling you that they've been doing, which is the destruction of our country, step by step, by systematic step, which means.
Well, I mean, if there's that many steps involved, obviously there's a system.
For us, turn us full-blown communists.
That's what it is. Full-blown communism. That's what it is. And I don't know how easy it is for communists to get blown in this day and age. I think it's a lot more work than maybe it used to be. Certainly, definitely harder than it was, no pun intended, in like the early 60s, I would guess.
It won't last another 4 years with this plan in place. Just so.
Well, there's 2 more years and then another 4 years after that. So it'd be 6.
So you're all clear. There will be.
I am clear.
We know 2028.
There will be no 2028. It's that calendar year is being called off. It's like, think of it as a leap year, but for real, like for the whole year. So we're just going to go straight to the 29th.
Because, dude, we only have a short window to get everybody on board with this, or we're lose the whole country.
The whole country gone. He's real AF, and society won't let him say what he wants, so they put red tape over his mouth because he's real Andy Frisella and he's real AF. And to a certain degree, apparently there's an addendum. They're footnotes.
What's up?
Oh, what's going on, man? Dude, I got a good show.
DJ Big Reggie Johnson is the co-host of the Real AF podcast, according to his Chiron, his lower third.
Oh, dear.
We got a good show here.
As opposed to the regular shitty shows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So you get the idea. There's these kind of guys. The storyline behind Biden, I mean, that's an hour-long thing. I don't need to dive into rando world. But there's this general idea that they finished the job. You know, I think there's a habit on the right that any slogan they have to turn into, they have to weaponize the slogan as soon as it lands. That's part and parcel to the entire attack scheme. And when it comes to, like it used to be, they used to attack equality. Now equity is worse because you can't guarantee equality of outcome, but equity has the ring of everybody gets to the starting line evenly. Equity will make sure that people have equity and they're all in on America to some degree, you know, that everybody has equity in the country as a citizen, that's why that word sort of has floated up as a replacement for equality. But as soon as that came out, of course, the Glenn Becks of the world and other dipshits are like, equity is where they want to make sure they want to hammer us all down so that we're all nails at the same level, that kind of shit. So, but besides finishing the job, apparently there is another detail, something in there. And by the way, I forgot to show you. Apparently, Trump did an exclusive interview with Steve Bannon. And I think we might jump back and forth between that and the Levin thing tonight to some degree. But where were we? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so it's fairly short. And don't be shocked if Debbie manages to out-racist or out-bigot the mess. We always get confused. I always think, and this is totally sexist of me, and I have to apologize, ladies, you're out there. You can be every bit as disgusting and piggish as men. I give you the benefit of the doubt, and yes, RIP 2028. That was the year Portland was going to be added back to the map, and now it's not happening. Women, you can be oftentimes not just as awful as men, but even more awful. I believe in you. When I'm committed to equality, I mean it. You can be disgusting and horrible and racist and bigoted and gross as much as men can. You might have to, like if there's a big rock with a racial epithet on it, you might need some help lifting it, I suppose. I'm trying to turn this into something stupid and sexist, but I can't. It's just a waste of time. Anyways, so don't be shocked when we think, well, obviously the mess should be plenty gross, but Debbie will swoop in and fix it for us. Hold on, here we go.
Joe Biden is running again, believe it or not.
I believe it. I've seen the ad, and I'm buying the merch. I believe I'm going to vote for him. I am going to vote for him.
Have a guy who can barely carry out this term. It's kind of like a runner. He's having trouble finishing the race. He's gasping.
And yet, he keeps setting records. You know, a lot of people in marathons, especially that set records, gasp. They tend to do it because they're working harder than everybody else and they're way ahead of them. Just saying. The Infrastructure Bill, CHIPS Act, any of that shit, Violence Against Women Act getting re-upped.
You're not even sure he's going to get there.
I'm sure he's going to get there.
And then he's like, sign me up for the next marathon. I'm ready to go.
Unlike what? What's he supposed to do? Fold halfway through his term? Do your job for you? Ladies and gentlemen, I saw 2,000 mules. I'm not going to do it. Like, is that what he's supposed to do?
So what do we make
What do we do? Debbie, help me out here.
of this insanity?
And that's what it is. It's
It's insanity. It's sanity. And both of you are wonderfully, wonderfully sane, normally normal people.
insanity. But it's insanity with a purpose.
Oh, yes. Driven insanity, like Hannibal Lecter or the people who get a job selling ShamWows.
Because this guy wants to become president again because so many of his relatives are going to go to prison, and he's
I see. Yeah, he's copying why Trump wants to run again. We're just going to grab why Trump's running again and just overlay it.
not going to be able to bail them out. He's not going to be able to give them a pardon.
Well, he's still got 2 years. I mean, if they hurry the cases up, I mean, then it's sort of counterintuitive. If he's running so that he can pardon his family, then one would think, why would he delay any of the cases, which is the other accusation, right? I mean, if I was Joe Biden and I was planning on pardoning these folks, I think I would go find them guilty quick as possible, so I got the pardon right here. Just guilty. There it is. Okay, it's done, right? As opposed to I'll try it in my next term. I'm only going to be 80. I got plenty of time.
So he has to be president. That is the only thing I can think of.
Well, yeah, but that's because your skull is empty.
Because this man is...
I mean, this is a really interesting theory. It is that...
It is. It's really interesting. Debbie, you're very interesting. You're so interesting. I was thinking, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, wow, interesting.
Look,
as a matter of fact, every time she speaks, if I was sitting across from her, I think the only thing I would be able to manage is, interesting.
because Biden's been president.
He has. I'm glad you admitted that partly.
So he's checked the presidential box.
Right. And he's collected all 5. No, he wasn't mayor anywhere, right? Yeah. He's collected all 3 in the federal. I mean, maybe he'll try for SCOTUS next. I think that'd be fabulous. I think Kamala should make Joe a SCOTUS just to fuck with you guys. The 10th, by the way, they expand the court 1 seat just for the rest of his life, however short that will be at 80 years old. He's there, and watch him just ride it the fuck out like Strom Thurmond. 104.
Mm-hmm.
He's pushing 80, or has he turned 80 already, or either one or the other. In any event,
he'll be 82
right.
if he runs again in 20.
Yeah, he had a birth.
And he seems to be depleted and exhausted.
And yet, still cracked him up at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it's almost as like he's a president dealing with a bunch of shit and doing it fairly well. It's weird.
So who wants
He's a puppet, right? Well, obviously, who would want him to run would be all the puppeteers.
to be that? Is that something that you would relish? So you're saying, no, he has an ulterior motive.
Absolutely.
His whole life is catching up with him.
Absolutely.
His crimes are being exposed.
Yes, they're all the crimes, the rape of E. Jean Carroll, the stealing of documents and refusing to give them back, the Georgia phone call, the attempt to subvert our democracy on behalf of two foreign powers. You're talking about Biden. I thought you were talking about Trump for a second. My bad.
Interesting thing is that, with this.
Interesting. Debbie and her desperate need to be interesting.
Blinken thing and the 51
intelligence
officers that have said that they kept the Hunter Biden laptop story out of the news because they.
No, they didn't. That letter came after.
They wanted him to win instead of Trump.
No, they didn't.
Well, perhaps.
And by the way, did it work? You know who kept the Hunter Biden laptop out of the news? You want to know who the single person who did the most to keep the Hunter Biden laptop story out of the news? You want the number one? Rudy Giuliani, because Rudy Giuliani had that hard drive called laptop, not from a laptop full of fakery and bullshit, for almost a year before he gave printouts from it to the New York Post. He would not give it to any of the news organizations, and he held it until October and would only give them printouts. Had he given them the entire contents of the hard drive at that point, by the way, it had been news everywhere because it had blown up all over the place. But somebody would have noticed quickly that almost every document on there, except for the Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, could not be actually verified or traced to any actual send date ever. Oh, thank you so much, Mysterious Monolith. That was very sweet. Thanks for the super chats. Don't forget, like, subscribe. We're so close. We're like 16 subscribers away from 50K. It's going to happen. I can feel it. I feel it this show. I feel it. So, where were we? Oh, yes. So, if Rudy Giuliani had just released the thing, it would have been all over the news everywhere. But they also would have, gone through it and recognized that it was a farce. You wouldn't have even needed the letter from all 51 of those guys because anybody. Somebody knocking at the door? Making sure either the cat's trying to get out. I think Chip's been trying to escape. We let him out in the backyard to like walk around to be a semi-indoor outdoor cat, and now he sits by the window and meows at the sky. And occasionally chases bugs by banging on the glass. So if I have to run out to make sure he didn't squeak his way out, he can't actually. He's big as a fire hydrant, so he can't exactly. Never mind.
If they didn't do that, if they didn't go through such great lengths to like stop the news from becoming news,
they did not stop the news from becoming news. As a matter of fact, that it triggered the Streisand effect, if anything. The problem is the reason why the Streisand effect didn't work in this case, as far as drawing more attention to the contents of the Hunter Biden laptop, the laptop, which doesn't exist, the hard drive named laptop, is because Rudy Giuliani hid its contents from the news media until after the election by almost a year. And then even then, it has more data on it than the data from a model of that laptop could have held. The max was 256 at the time. The hard drive they're shopping has 416. This is just dumb.
He could have already pardoned him. And then we wouldn't have to put up with 4 years of Biden again, right? But the fact that they have delayed things, delayed matters, Biden and his family, because I'm pretty sure that it's not just Biden wanting him to run again, it's Hunter and all the other people. They're like, hey, whoa, you're not done. Remember, if they indict us, if we go to prison, you got to get us out of there,
I mean, I remember the scene in The Godfather where they're...
Yeah, this is just like The Godfather. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm going to ask you to bring some ice cream. I swallowed a bug.
Talking about the fact that they're really looking forward to deploying their operations out of Cuba. Now, why? Because one of the mafiosos says basically, listen, we've never had a country where we could kind of do our own thing. We would be unaccountable for our crimes. We'd be working with a friendly government.
So the Bidens are going to coax Cuba into being their operations hub because international extradition. No. But Guantanamo is right there, though. See, the problem I have with the whole Cuba analogy is that hasn't Hillary been hung at Guantanamo along with Obama and I don't know, a dozen other people 3 or 4 times at Guantanamo? I wouldn't want to be anywhere close to that place. It just doesn't make any sense.
And Michael Corleone, of course.
No, fill in the gaps.
And Michael Corleone, of course, nods and goes along. Now, Biden, of course, doesn't have...
I mean, what are you going to do?
Deals with foreign countries, but what you're saying is it's something of the same thing. Because if the Biden regime retains hold of the United States, we become their Cuba. We become the, quote, foreign country that they can then control, and their...
Foreign country? Fuck stick, this is our country. What? what the you do? He's a sit. Are we going back to Obama birth certificate shit? Good Lord.
Own
What?
mafia operations will never become exposed. I mean, they are getting exposed, but there's still no accountability to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Well, I think it's you haven't exposed any actual crimes. You've alluded to a bunch. You've dreamed of some. You've dreamed some dreamy dreams of Biden and China and Biden and money and I don't know, James Biden, Hunter Biden and billions of dollars and Biden. You've dreamed some dreamy dreams of criminality. And the entire laptop contents supposedly are available online, and you motherfuckers are still showing pictures of Hunter smoking in a bathtub. Get over yourself.
that's why I think that we as Republicans have to be very careful
Very careful not to vote for Trump again.
how we
Because,
tread the water right now. Because
yes, you got to be careful how you tread the water. You don't want to, if you got to tread very lightly when you're treading on water. Otherwise, you'll do you'll do something that's very un-Jesus. Like drowned.
you know, self-imploding and having all these petty
Acrimonious
fights.
division.
Yeah, Republicans, why would you be fighting amongst yourselves? Come on. Don't fight amongst you. The Democrats are about to turn America into their own personal Cuba with cigars and old taxi cabs and an audio slave performing a reunion concert with somebody else singing for, I don't know.
Yeah, we have to remember that we have to win this election in 24, or we really are done as a country. I've been talking.
That's right. It's the last election ever. Really is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Many of you listening. You've heard this before. For decades, some of you. Some of the folks that are as old as I am have been hearing this shit for a very, very long time. And still hasn't ended yet, has it? Nope. But it's gonna. And this is it. 2028. I mean, it's like, hold on a second. I have the overhead light on again, and I keep forgetting to shut it off. It was 2000, Y2K, then 2008 when the economy crashed. That was going to be the end of it. And then 2012, of course, because the Mayans said so, even though they weren't around to see it. So I tend to be dubious about people whose calendars I have outlived. So anyways, well, in this particular instance, that was all bullshit, Joel. 2028, that's the end. End of America. We had a nice run. Pack your shit, everybody. I would start, pricing moving vans right now. I don't know where you're going to move. I think probably into the ocean. Water world, is that what we're going to do? Or are we just going to just drive straight into the nearest lake?
Talking about the fact that we are on our way to becoming Venezuela, but we definitely will be if we don't win this election.
I mean, for many election cycles,
he's already acting like Maduro. Can you imagine another?
He's totally acting like Maduro. And how is he acting like Maduro?
4 years?
Yeah, people would say,
oh my God, it's communism. We're gonna be communists by then. Maduro.
hey, this is the most important election, 1996, 2000, 2004.
Yeah, you're onto something there, dipshit.
But I think we can see what has happened in the country just in the last 3 years.
2 and change, but yeah, the unemployment rate has gone down. We've got infrastructure being rebuilt. We basically stiff-armed Chinese tech development for the CCP for the next 10 years at least. Biden's cut $1 trillion from the deficit. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Communism, totally communism.
A real deterioration of basic liberties,
Come in.
real breakdown of our institutions, an erosion of checks and balances
Yeah, the checks and the balances. I agree. Clarence Thomas got to go. Thanks for bringing it up, Dinesh. Don't get me started on Kavanaugh, who paid off his debts. Am I right? That's not what you're talking about?
Previously held together, at least to some degree. The media, always biased, has now gone into full Pravda or propagandistic mode.
Well, obviously not since Tucker's been fired. I mean, like that. I think probably Fox is trying to walk back from that line for themselves.
So we're in serious problems as a country, and I think you're saying the stakes are very high for.
Yeah, the stakes are super high. They really are. They're super high. These are high stakes times. The stakes are high, and they're medium rare.
They're very high, but listen to this.
Okay, I'm listening because so far I haven't been convinced, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so basically, Biden's commercials and all of that. Look what it says. It's essential to remind voters of what's at stake in 2024. This is coming from them, right?
Yeah, sounds like a run-of-the-mill campaign ad. I got to tell you,
Yeah.
And to do so, we have to remember the issues like abortion access.
So that's key for them.
Protecting our.
That's something about that. I don't know, chicks. Am I right, Debbie? That's a big deal with them or something. I don't know.
Our climate.
Yeah, the climate. So we're going to, obviously we're going to abort all the babies because what's the point of having a child since don't look up. Am I right?
Curbing gun control, making.
Curbing gun control. I'm not. Anybody think that's what that really says? I think they mean curbing. I think she means curbing gun rights, right? Because why would you curbing gun control would be something the Republicans would run on, I guess. It's just stupid.
Healthcare more affordable and making our economy work for.
Ew. Healthcare more affordable and making the economy work for everyone. Blech.
Every American.
Ew, fuck that. Every American? Even the poor ones? Boo.
I mean, listening to it, it almost sounds, oh, yeah, I agree. But
almost, except what? Except then you suddenly realize it's all a front for communism.
But when you look at it, when you dissect it.
Yeah, when you break it apart and rearrange all the letters, it says, I love Satan. Satan is my buddy. We love Satan. You're chanting.
It's like, guys.
It's like, oh my God, right? Because it's like, what? And I was like, and then I'm reading it. I'm like, it seems fine. But then I'm like, hold on. Let me check the label because I'm MSG.
This is ridiculous.
You're talking about the extremism of their agenda, abortion.
Well, no, actually, she read the agenda as she understands it, which is fairly pitiful, but she wasn't making the case that it was extreme at all. She's saying she's looking at these things and they seem pretty fucking normal, but she's assuming extremity for the sake of politics. Oh, I'm being silly. I'm being a silly person.
For all 9 months, even laws that would prevent.
No. Nobody's killing a viable baby at the last second. There's no like abortion after birth. Shut the fuck up. You're making it up and you're ridiculous people. You're silly, stupid, ridiculous people. Fuck off.
And the restriction of partial birth abortion.
Yeah.
The restriction of partial birth abortion. Okay. First of all, partial birth abortion is their kind of buzzword about stuff. It's like they drag the kid out and then they whack him on a stone. It's very biblical. It's very Old Testament.
Climate has just become kind of a cult.
Yeah, totally. Like everybody, like suddenly everybody breathes the same air or something. I don't know. It's weird.
And it's become highly profitable for people.
Oh yeah, fucking that sweet wind money. Yeah, that's what we're gonna. I'm actually gonna corner the market on wind. That's what it is. Yeah, gone are the days when people will mine the earth for coal and oil and gas. No. We're gonna put a sky tax on everybody because then you'll have wind magnates that will own the wind in a certain area and charge anyone with a windmill a surcharge. Don't get me started on, I'm buying sunlight as we speak. I've declared, so here's the plan, and see if you want to work with me. And if you want to super chat, this is where the money's going to go to. I'm going to buy 666 Fifth Avenue, turn it into a rocket, not unlike the Tower of Babel. And then I'm going to launch it at the sun, where I'm going to plant a flag on the sun where it says and declare that I own the sunlight, and therefore every solar panel has to pay me a sunshine tax. That's my plan. It worked for the oil companies. Just because, why not underneath the ground? You know, if it works underneath the ground and they can charge you for that, what about up in the sky? Huh? That'll work. Fucking renewables.
Like Al
Not
Gore.
only that, but
Like Al Gore. Yeah, totally. Al Gore is just fucking Wolf of Wall Streeting it every fucking where.
But some of the things that they're trying to do with the climate is going to seriously make us go back 100, 150 years.
Well, besides the fact that it is, in terms of women and minority rights, that doesn't sound too bad to you guys. But I think you mean technology-wise. So let me see if I can grasp this. And chat room, please help me the fuck out on this. So the idea is that the Democrats, in league with big science, the climate activist world, and big tech, is trying to send us back to the dark ages before all this technology, because they're just tired of going to work in Cupertino or something. That's so the Democrats got in league with big tech so that we could go back to the old West. First of all, I would say to most Republicans, you fucking wish. And secondly, you're an idiot. I don't understand that at all. We're used to Debbie being ridiculous, but this is special.
Because our grids are so messed up.
They are so messed up. All of our grids. And it's almost like the president passed an infrastructure bill to help remedy that. And, obviously Texas is its own little fucked little mess. But, why would we work on that and try to improve it?
And they don't want, they only want electricity, right? And if our grid.
Yes, we only want electricity in the grid. I just think in terms of the electrical grid, I think sending pudding through it is a mistake. I don't want to be too judgmental about this, and I will admit to a certain limited scientific knowledge that is probably my second year science major in college with a comfortable chit chat awareness of other science beyond that. But I'm fairly certain the electrical grid is for electricity, which has to be made somehow. And the idea is to make it in the way that does the least amount of damage to our air and water, because we can now.
Grids can't take it. Guess what? We're going to be in the dark.
Oh my God. Not the dark. And there'll be nothing to set fire to except all the trees that will be. All right.
This is what they want.
Is that what you want, guys? Maybe we haven't powwowed in a while. Have we talked about this? So we want to transition to a wind, solar, geothermal, and nuclear, perhaps even micronuclear, and not burn coal and oil for energy because we want it to be dark. Is that the plan? Because I have not gotten the most recent memo. I thought the whole thing was so that we, at some point we're going to run out of oil and gas, and then it would get really dark if you don't have a backup plan. And then in the search for a backup plan, somewhere around the mid 80s, people started realizing, wow, with a little bit more investment and a little bit more innovation, this stuff could completely replace oil and gas and coal over time, at least in the consumer, in terms of consumer vehicles and homes. we could save all the oil and gas, which we don't have a ton of, for industrial purposes. That seemed logical at the time, but apparently I was mistaken.
So Debbie's talking
Very
about
forward-
repealing
Yeah,
the Industrial Revolution to a
Very
degree.
forward thinking.
So Debbie is talking about repealing the Industrial Revolution to a certain degree. It's the Brundle grid, right? That's what they think we're trying to do for real. Does anybody play this shit back for them? And again, why would we bother to take over these Democrats? Don't we control big tech and big media and stuff? And what happens if the lights go out? And obviously we can't. Then people will start sitting around fires and reading books.
These progressives are,
and you
right?
got to imagine people.
No, not right. Debbie, we don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, sometimes I at least know what she's getting at. Sometimes I at least know what they're hinting at or trying to say, to manipulate their audience. This is just fucking dumb.
In India and China, these other countries coming up, just laughing at the nonsense that they hear out of the Europeans and the Americans.
Yeah, but that's because they don't speak English or German or French, and it sounds funny when you don't. It's hilarious, you know what I mean? Like, it's hilarious, you know what I mean? And don't get me started on all the different English accents, from Scottish to Australian to down south, whatever. It's hilarious when they hear it, especially if they don't know what the words mean. It just sounds like a bunch of funny noises. It's adorable.
And they're like, if you guys want to destroy yourselves, go right ahead. We're trying
Is that what they're saying?
to come up in the world, and our relative statuses are only going to improve as yours goes down. Joe Biden.
Oh, that's the idea that I guess the overall idea, and this is what this other guy that what you dick as fuck show, this guy, that he's making the same argument that that they're making. And the general idea is that the Biden administration is, even though they're doubling down on all of the Chinese sanctions, and even though they have set Chinese technology back a decade by limiting the kind of chips they can have, the kind of companies they can interact with, and even though they're doing all this stuff, the reason is it's so that they can more subtly destroy the entire American economy so that China and India, I guess, can rush ahead by burning all the fossil fuels they want and speeding into the future. Which one would think there'd be a way easier way to just kind of, to sink the whole fucking thing. Am I right?
Is running again.
Sorry, one second. Let me open this back up. Why did it shrink down? That's very strange. Anyways, let's go. Hold on one second. I'll go to this guy. Hey, man, there's a thing going on over at Fox Nation, man, that ain't good. Hold on. And I'll show you this here in a second. Give me a goddamn. Hold on. Let me turn this on. I got to do something. I don't know why it's doing the way it's doing. Come on now. Oh, it's not even working. Look at that. It's being weird. Shit. Come on now. You don't even, there you go. Do that guy. Maybe come back. Nope. Oh gosh. Well, I shut it down and turn it back on. Maybe we'll try something else. So Tucker Carlson, there's this thing come out here. I'll show you real quick. There was an audio of him coming out, and that came out. Hold on one second.
I don't want to be a
pause. Hold on. I don't want to be a jerk, but too late. This is Tucker Carlson talking into his phone like a Kardashian on the set, the former set of Tucker Carlson Today, a show that had such bad ratings, they could have Russell Brand and Jimmy Dore and Marianne Williamson and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on, and nobody gave a shit. And, well, you don't have to, you don't need me to tell you that Fox Nation is ass. Listen to somebody who used to work there.
that people watch anyway. We're gonna because I you know, I'm like I don't want to be I don't want to be a slave to Fox Nation, which I don't think that many people watch anyway. We're gonna because I you know, I'm like a representative of the American media now.
Totally. That's how we think of you. Yes. Of everything wrong with it, you mean?
Speaking to an exile in Romania and welcoming him back into the Brotherhood of Journalists.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate?
It would help us out if you wore a sweater, though, because we asked him not to wear a suit. Like, he was panicking about it. So you don't have to. Tucker's going to be looking casual. That's just how our show looks.
And I think he doesn't have a suit because he's in prison. I don't know who the fuck he's talking about, but I don't care. But I think it's hilarious. This is what the conversation is about, though. That whoever his guest is not going to be wearing a suit. And he wanted Tucker to not wear a suit as well. So it looked like they're just shooting the shit. But Mr. Bowtie is not having it.
Is that okay?
I mean, this is airing on the nighttime show, and I want it to look official. I don't want it to be like bro talk. And I
which is his other show he was trying to launch before they fired him. Tucker's Bro Talk.
You know what I mean?
No, there is nothing you could wear that would make you look like a bro. Nothing at all. He would always look like somebody who was carrying Paul Ryan's bags for that weightlifting shoot that he did with his hat on backwards.
Yeah, but the majority of it, like if we go like 45 minutes, it's going to be for Fox Nation.
But nobody's going to watch it on Fox Nation. Nobody watches Fox Nation because the site sucks.
See, look, man, I'm tired of being right. How many times have I told you this? That they put Tucker on there because they were shoveling him more money in a way that wouldn't upset Sean Hannity. But not because he was getting more viewers or anything. As a matter of fact, they were trying to swipe some viewers from his nightly show over there and letting him phone this shit in. They just slather it out every couple of days or whatever the fucking schedule was.
So I'd really like to just dump the whole thing on YouTube. But anyway, that's just my view.
Wait, YouTube? I thought YouTube was run by Google, which is owned by Alphabet, which is censoring people. How do you even stay online? How is it possible that you can even post these videos with the censorship? Aren't you worried about them being shadow banned?
You've
been taking elocution lessons from Dinesh D'Souza?
I'm just frustrated with it's hard to use that site. I don't know why they're not fixing it. It's driving me.
Why would they fix it since no one goes? It's a self-perpetuating problem. It's just spiraling downward. And I think them giving you a show on it was a sign of that sort of DGAF attitude.
Insane. And they're like making like Lifetime movies, but they don't work on the infrastructure of the site. Like what?
Like what?
It's crazy. And
it's crazy. The infrastructure of the site. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a media website. What's confusing about it? It's not that people aren't having a hard time figuring out how to subscribe to Fox Nation. They're having a hard time figuring out why. Even with him on, he's a representative of the American media. He's the #1 show on Fox News, and they put him on Fox Nation, and they can't manage to get even the hardcore maggots to give a fuck because they have to pay.
And it drives me crazy because it's.
I wouldn't blame that.
We're doing all this extra work, and no one can find it.
They can find it. They just don't bother. Does this asshole actually think people were looking for FoxNation.com and Tucker Carlson today and couldn't click on the right things? That it was just it's murky. I don't even know do I click on my face or the words or the title or the link, or do they all work? But but what if I click on both at the same? You can't click twice on two different things at the same time. It's not how a mouse works. But how do I? It's a way to have faith in your audience, by the way. You got to understand that my audience are dumb fucks. They'll never find this. Well, it's because they don't have a snazzy name like infotainmentwars.com. Like, subscribe. All right.
Believable, actually. I
It's quite believable.
don't know who runs that site, but
No one. No one. It's automated.
We're going to play a sizable chunk on the show tomorrow night. That's the plan. And then what it's going to do is drive a lot of people to watch this on Fox Nation. It's going to
Oh, yeah. That's something they've been telling him for a while.
be a great help to what we're doing.
Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, we're going to play a huge chunk of stuff on your nightly show, and then that's going to make people go, ooh, this is sweet. Him in front of a bunch of wood, yammering with some dickhead again. Long form. I tune in every night for 3-minute snippets and him brooming Candace Owens after one segment. And now but it's really because I've been waiting for him to do long hour-plus podcast formats in a fucking sauna with a TV in it.
I know, but we're doing our part. We're like working like animals to produce all this content, and the people in charge of it, whoever that guy's, whatever his name is, like they're ignoring the fact that the site doesn't work. And I think it's like a betrayal of our efforts. That's how I.
Yes, that's why he left. A lot of people say it's because he was involved in a sexual harassment or a hostile workplace suit, or he cost the network tens of millions of dollars by himself. No. It's because he felt betrayed by how little faith Fox had in Fox Nation as a website. It upset him so much that he talked into his phone like somebody auditioning for a commercial on candy bars. Anyways, so needless to say, Dickhead's very upset with the whole this business. What's your last
I
word?
feel so. Of course, I resent it.
Of course, I resent it. Of course, and resentment is not how you want to live your life. You know, if I do say so. Okay. Meanwhile, so Fox Nation is ass, and Tucker was on it. And it continued to be ass, and it didn't, not in a good way, and it didn't amount to a hill of shit. And so apparently, the Blaze is saying goodbye to its its biggest competitor. Yeah, let's see, shall we? Yes, look, there's no way Fox Nation took any attention away from this or the Blaze, the Daily Wire, any of that shit. The only people signing up for it were people who signed up for all of those things or none of those things. So it's just, or none of the others. And so it doesn't fucking matter. But they're very happy to see it go.
It's an interesting week, man. It's been an interesting week.
Interesting, absolutely. You've been hanging out with Debbie?
I told you guys, and I'm gonna.
He did. He said it. I don't know what he said, but he said it.
I'm going to reiterate. I kind of want to summarize as we
reiterate the summarization.
Get off the rails. I want to summarize some of what we've talked about this week.
Yeah, thanks, because I'm new to your show and I don't care. Get on with it.
For years now, we've told you that it is imperative that you support independent broadcasting. Now,
I agree. That's why you should subscribe to Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, Infotainmentwars.com, and of course, twitch.tv/Hal Sparks. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. It's the first of the month. It's not too late. And you can subscribe on Patreon for a whole year if you just want to do it in one fell swoop and you don't like the idea of paying for stuff or whatever. Is that what you're talking about? It's not what you're talking about, is it? You're talking about subsidizing Glenn Beck's fucking ranch, wherever the hell he is?
There's a reason why we are a part of networks like the Blaze.
You're multiple networks. Good for you.
As someone who...
Money? Would that be the reason?
Was a regular contributor to Fox News. I was.
What happened? Was. And you're really wearing a shirt with your own name on it, and Michael Jordan's number.
I was on Fox all the time. A lot of people got to know me through Fox.
Yeah, I have to say I must have missed that entire decade.
I just watched a change happen, even from the outside. I watched a change happen. They started bringing in, different producers, and I could tell that they wanted certain types of content. I would make appearances on the shows, whether I was in New York or doing remotes or whatever. There was different types of content that they
Yeah, great. This is riveting.
wanted that was different than what it had been originally, right?
You mean pre 9/11?
Couldn't joke about certain things. They really kind of called you down.
You couldn't joke about certain things. What? Racial epithets?
Down on that. And I don't know if you guys have figured this out yet or not, but I'm not real good at being filtered. I want to be filtered.
Oh, are you? Do you? Do you want to take Bongholio show?
I wish I could be filtered, but I just can't stop myself from saying really dumb things sometimes because to
Oh, so he wants Tucker's job.
me, it just seems right.
Yeah, I mean, Your Honor, we enter this into evidence without comment.
So I do better. The older I get, I do better. But, they stopped having me on, and those were the reasons why.
It might have been boredom. I mean, this is my first time seeing this dude, and that would be my first one. So far, you got 2 minutes to sell your shtick right out of the gate on a clip, and I'm just saying I don't see it. Maybe it's a style thing. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a comfort level thing. Maybe he's got to grow on you like a toe fungus.
Because they never knew what I was going to say.
Well, perhaps they wanted you to answer the questions that the host presented. What do I know about news?
And I've seen this change in terms of their content over the years with all of the mainstream media. So if you remember a guy like Tucker Carlson,
No, I'm not familiar. Does anybody know who he is? Was he a great big old fat person? No, he was the guy. Fuck, Tucker Carlson. The name rings a bell. I think, wasn't he on I stopped, I really lost interest in Walking Dead after season 8 or 9. Are they on 12 now? 15? Where is it? It was he had a short run on there, right?
Carlson's been on all of the networks. He was on.
He has?
On CNN.
Oh yeah, the guy who's been fired everywhere, yeah.
He was on MSNBC. He ended up on Fox,
and so you might get the idea that he's just a gadfly and kind of full of shit.
On Fox Nation. Fox Nation was not doing great at all.
Really? I can't imagine that. I would think Fox has their thumb on the pulse of the nation, so it makes I would assume.
If you remember when they launched Fox Nation, which
I do not. Honest to God, when I hear about it, I'm always shocked it's still on the air.
Was their streaming service, their subscription service. There were several people that they had on there that just weren't carrying the load. They just...
Yeah, you're saying they weren't worth being on a website?
Just weren't making it a thing. And so Fox Nation was kind of plummeting. And then they added Tucker Carlson today.
Yeah, and still nothing changed.
And they put it on there, and boom, it became a viable source of information. So Tucker...
Yes, a viable source of information. If you can't get a pamphlet on testicle tanning, it's a good fill-in.
Single-handedly, in my opinion, those on the inside may correct me if I'm wrong, although I doubt they will. Tucker Carlson made Fox Nation an actual viable thing.
No. He was on there, but according to him, and that's pretty close to the inside, at least when he made the video, it didn't help at all.
So you take Tucker off of that, and now you have seen this week not only a market share of more than $1 billion just tank in the network, but also people.
Well, I thought that was because they were going to give Dylan Mulvaney his slot. It's like a Bud Light I'm fucking around.
Just in droves canceling their Fox Nation subscription. So now, what's the logical thing that I should encourage you to do? Well, I should encourage you
to resubscribe to them, because you should subscribe to us and them, because you want to get a well-rounded thing. And it's not the fault of those other people that he was fired by the uppers and they're trying their... Oh, no? Well, that's not where you were going? You were going with fuck them?
to go to blazetv.com, sell code Chad.
I'm skipping a sales
future,
pitch.
but I do know that I
am boring.
Am extremely
boring.
Excited about certain things that I see coming down the pike here at Blaze. Okay.
Fucking hell. Just what? I can't. This guy's got 30 seconds more. I'm dying here. This is so boring. I'm shocked it's not on Fox Nation.
Okay. It's sort of like,
what's it? Tell me. What's it sort of like?
We are getting our feet underneath us in certain ways, in certain areas. Not that it hasn't been great content all along, but some real entertainment. More than just talking head, regurgitating.
Oh my God. Kevin Sorbo's getting a show with Ted Nugent. I'm so excited. There's going to be some stuff coming down the pike. We're going to be, Glenn and Stu and I are going to act out some of the videos from the Hunter Biden laptop story. And believe me, Glenn's going to be the line of coke. We can't wait to snort him.
The news and our opinions on it, but some real entertainment because...
Yeah, because it's boring around here. I'm not going to lie. It's dull as fuck. Just like, man... It's like trying to jimmy a paint can with a stick of butter around. I know it's just a waste of time.
As I've stated over and over again.
Yes, and I get the feeling that you say things over and over.
The only way to deal with the insanity of the leftist progressive ideals, narratives, and agendas is to
all of it
mock it. Because you've got to use...
That's true. Yep, you got to mock it. You got to be able to make jokes, be entertaining. Just be funny about it. Hilarious. Say insightful and yet humorous things to attack your opponent's position in a way that is both uplifting and enlightening. Go right ahead. Any fucking day now.
Humor to ridicule the stupidity. That's
right, like the hat. I get it. I wasn't hip to it in the beginning, but it's hilarious. It really is. The hat is super funny. The hat and the shirt and the set and the mic. It's so hilarious. Like it took me a minute because it's so dry, But God, just to like look that ridiculous and do this like serious, deadpan, rambly shit. Like the Blaze, man. Fucking, they're fucking punk rock. I don't even know.
The only way people are going to see through it, right? Until that light bulb pops on and you have that aha moment, you're not going to realize the lunacy that's being crammed down your throat.
Well, no, of course not. Not until you cram a light bulb down their throat at the same time.
So we have to mock it.
Okay, get ready. Here it comes. Here comes the mockery.
Perfect example is our friends over at Babylon Bee. Now,
well, that's you borrowing you're going to take one of their jokes or a spoof post and you're going to read it. All right. I get enough of that shit with Jimmy Dore. Fuck off, cowboy. Good Lord. That is the current state of the Blaze. The Blaze was like, oh shit, it's our moment. Tucker's off. People are wandering in the wilderness trying to find their new site, their new destination. And without Tucker and the joy that he brought, where are they going to go? They're going to come right here. So we're going to put our best foot forward and bore the ass off of everyone. So par for the course. Meanwhile, over at Real America's Voice, the voice of the Americas, but the real one, not the bullshit one. Thank you very much. We've got Paulina Luna The Florida 13th District witch, that's what people say. They say she's a witch and that she is slutting around and doing all the things. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I am telling you it again. And then, of course, this is Charmaine Nugent, Charmin Nugent, and Turd Nugget, and she was sitting in there having a conversation with this lady. This is her show, not his show. It's her show. But he was like, "Who's the chick with the lip filler?" And he just had to barge in. That bring you up to, does that bring you up to speed? Let's go.
What are your thoughts on that? We really do have to drain the swamp, and it starts with people like you and Representative Don.
Oh, shit. You're trying to get rid of her already? She just showed up. We got to drain the swamp, starting with you. I mean...
Can President Trump do it again?
Well, I take issue with the word again. You're presuming he did it in the first place. The swamp was not drained, if you'll notice.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally, 100%. 100,000, 1,000%. 13,000%, 25.
We saw in national polling that President Trump had the American people, Democrats specifically, known that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. They would never have voted for him.
No. We've heard this one a bunch. No. 17% of people would not, if they'd heard about the Hunter Biden laptop, they would have voted for Donald Trump or not at all. If they'd have known he smokes in the bathtub, we would have lost 70% of Democrats. We would have gained 25% of, they would have, 20% of Republican men would have voted for him just for the hooker thing. It would have evened out.
Again, that stat saying a third of Democrats are not going to be voting for Biden. I mean, look.
No. Try again.
There obviously was an issue with secure elections, and there are instances. And
well, sure. I mean, not with the actual election itself, but like the security at the Capitol, mainly because Trump took the part where he said, let's walk down to the Capitol and I'll walk down there with you, out of the speech so that he could send people up there without giving them warning.
That is exactly why you have certain states. I just met with actually the Secretary of Elections for the state of West Virginia. And so that's why in Florida, we locked him down. West Virginia, there's some other states that are doing that as well.
You're meeting the Republican representative for Florida's 13th district is meeting with West Virginia election officials. By the way, the more than likely, the Republicans are going to take West Virginia again out of habit as well. You don't really think there's any hope that you guys are actually going to convince anybody who didn't vote for Trump to stay on board, much less jump ship?
But obviously transparency, and then obviously people registering as poll workers, and then also to getting involved at the local grassroots level so that we can ensure that not only are we registering people to vote, but that fraudulent.
I have to say, grassroots is a very funny phrase because grassroots are fairly shallow. I mean, at the root level, I think it's good. The grassroots sounds like you're about to get mowed.
Instances don't occur. I think that that's huge. I think that the social media was huge. And I think the fact that the polling nationally, even from a generic Republican ballot versus Democrat, is showing that there's a 4% lead across the nation. So I think President Trump's going to win. That's kind of just what my gut is going to
Nope.
tell me.
That's what your gut is going to tell you. So you have who tipped you off? Your spleen?
There's a lot of people in Washington that don't want him to win, but that's exactly
right. Mainly Republicans.
exactly why he's the guy that we need.
Hey, I have a surprise for you. I don't think you've ever met my husband, have you?
Careful. She may have.
I think I saw him in passing once, but nice to see you. How are you?
Yeah, in passing. Is that what happened? You were passing? Were you? You son of a bitch.
Actually, I have my husband. Andy, come here. Come say hi to them.
Oh, there we
I
go.
have my husband here too. My
Well,
husband's
nice
a
to
huge
meet you,
fan,
Anna.
so I
God
wanted
bless
to
you.
say
You're
hi.
doing God for
What's up,
truth,
guys?
life, and common sense. God bless you, baby.
Thank
Amen.
you. We're big
Well,
fans of
We
both
should
of you.
do this more often.
It's like a
Have
double
him
date.
fill in for us.
So uncomfortable.
I tell you
Well,
what, she stays busy up here. I cannot believe how busy these folks stay up here, especially the ones that are not part of the swamp.
How about our wives? Let's hear it for our wives.
I know, amen. I can't tell people I'm just the driver. I just watching her do it.
It's adorable. Now, I think you should take one of Tucker's classes though, because you sound pretty beta, bro.
Loader ammo. I just load her magazine.
That's it.
That's pretty bad.
Ew! Look at his side look. That's code.
Keep the mags full.
Right? Anna probably does that herself. Well, Anna, you are absolutely doing God's work. We are so happy.
Is she? I thought she was doing the work of the 13th District of Florida, but
To
okay.
be aligned, and I'm so grateful that you came on. What's on your plate next?
Yeah, what are you doing besides talking to the election supervisors in West Virginia?
So one of the biggest things that we're going to be working on next from a legislative perspective is, I can't say too much because I will get in trouble with my
Yeah, she signed an NDA because it's part of the the DC universe.
legislative director here. But we're going to be working on how to make our food nationally cleaner and healthier. And so if you follow me on social
Nationally clean. We're going to add chlorine to everything.
media, on my personal accounts at Real Anna Paulina, I actually put out a lot
Oh, you're
about removing food dyes like yellow number 6, red 40, really things that are being added to our foods that are not good for us, and I would say that are basically poison.
See, I mean, it sounds like big government to me. I mean, who are you to tell corporations what they can put in the food? If it makes it sell better, what? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Hold on, I just saw that blaze by. JD Christie, thank you so much for the super chat. That's amazing. 50 for your 50. For the 50K. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. Yes, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up too. That helps. And also share the show. Sharing helps. Sharing is caring. Here we go. I'm sorry. She was in the middle of creating a nanny state where the government tells us what we can and can't do.
So we're working on that, and then also too, every single day, I mean, I sit on
Why don't you talk to Elizabeth Warren? She'll co-sponsor it. There's tons of Democrats who are on board with that, have been for a long time.
On House Oversight and Natural Resources. And so not only are we conducting investigations into the Biden family, obviously it's been
Yes, and all their bullshit tree charity or something where they were like planting trees to fight cancer or something. We're going and checking every single tree. Did I hit 50K? Did we actually do it? Hold on one second. Hold on. Channel dashboard. Reload. Could it be? Reloaded. 50,002? What the? Look at that. Yay! 50,000. We hit 50K. I can't believe it. You guys, you hung out there. A tenfold increase from our former unbreakable ceiling, and when I had less than 5,000 when we started this show a couple years ago. Thank you guys so much, and long form too, because I don't really do short videos, and now I'm going to start because at 50K that was going to be the line for the next level of growth. So thank you guys so much. That's really awesome. I'm not leaving. I'm just saying it. All right, back to the show. Very excited. 50,002, and keep subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, do that because people unsubscribe or they get kicked off or Google does stuff or I get shadow banned and then it goes down. So there you go. Did my other light, what are you doing? Going out. Weird little light. Okay, here we go. This is what her business.
And no, now this is not a conspiracy theory, but Biden's family was taking money from the Communist Chinese Party, their bank records of those transactions.
No.
That is literally from the Department of Treasury.
It's literally not.
So we'll be having hearings on that, but really just kind of stay up to date with what we're
You already have.
doing on my official accounts at Rep Luna. Lots of investigations, lots of fighting, but don't lose hope because there's a good.
Yeah, it's like I'm investigating like Yellow number 5, Mambo number 5, Chanel number 5, like Fox 5 at 11 p.m. news. I'm investigating all of them.
Group of us up here, and we're not going to let them win.
Well, I'm so excited for what you're doing, and please let me know if there's anything that we can do to help you with the food because it's such an amazing thing to even think that they're putting in chemicals that are, I mean, they wouldn't allow them in any other countries. And now
No, a lot of these are in a lot of other countries.
with mRNA, Anna, have you heard about that? They want to put mRNA in our lettuce and in our...
What? mRNA in our lettuce? How could they? They're going to vaccinate our lettuce? Oh my God. They're going to change the genetic structure of our lettuce and make it into cabbage.
Cattle and
Yeah.
the meat?
I mean, we have our own chickens, and I hate to get to that point, but I really just started paying attention to what they're doing to foods, GMOs, all of that. But
GMOs, really? Again, I guess this is horseshoe theory. Maybe there's common ground to be found. Although most of the GMO scares are bullshit, but testing foods when they modify them, not a bad idea.
then again, in addition to what they feed animals when they're mass produced on some of these farming operations, and you consume that, and it's really bad for you. So if
I did. You mean like when they feed cows to cows like they did in England and get bovine spongiform encephalitis?
you can, I'm a huge advocate for getting your own chickens and
Yes, oh yes. Chickens?
homesteading when you can, whether it's raising your own vegetables, but
Chickens?
I mean, really from, I hear about it all the time from my colleagues from across the aisle, and they say, what about the underserved communities? And literally, I just heard someone the other
Yeah. The underserved communities of chickens.
day saying that Republicans were trying to cut the benefits for Black and brown people. And I'm thinking that is, one, not true, but also when you're
Well, they're not bringing you in on it.
looking at what SNAP EBT actually is able to purchase, it's this massively processed food, and a lot of those additives in that food are leading to high risks of cardiovascular failure, obesity, diabetes, and they are impacting
Okay, so this is her lead into what would effectively be a junk food tax on SNAP and EBT.
underserved communities. So this is something that should be a bipartisan issue, and we'll see, because
Okay, that was music in the background. They were transitioning. They're trying to. The Nuge is playing her off.
bring heat on it.
Awesome. Well, God bless you and let us know if we can help. Thank you again.
Wait, what happened to Ted's thumb? Was he cleaning his nose and it went off? Hold on.
Underserved communities. So this is something that should be a bipartisan issue, and we'll see, because we're going to bring the heat on it.
Yep, there it is. Something happened to Ted's thumb, and I guess they're just gonna leave it as a mystery. It was up his ass again, and apparently it got snagged.
Awesome. Well, God bless you and let us know if we can help. Thank you again so much for joining us, both of you.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. It's wonderful, and they hang out, and there's so much wonderfulness, and it's wonderful. And the great thing about it is that as the Congresswoman for the 13th District in Florida, that all my colleagues calling me a witch, and then I go after things like GMOs and food colorings and that kind of stuff, which the Republicans traditionally are 100% for. It's funny that we could both share this kind of thing. I don't care. That's the state of current right wing. I don't even know what the fuck to call media. Do we call it media? Is it media at this point? Maybe Tucker was holding the fucking thing all together. Maybe that's what was happening. Jesus Christ. Because the level of boredom. Hi, everybody. There you go. Look at that. 50K. We hit 50K. Super excited. Thank you guys for making it happen. You got lovely people. All right. Liberal Dan's got a show tonight. Excellent. Go check him out afterwards. He's on Twitch, I believe, as well. And then cold for me is what? 25 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Ted gave his thumb a hickey. Yeah. He was looking for his car keys again and failed. Is that an inference that folks on Snap just buy junk and food kids and Snap are eating? Yes, that's exactly what that is, Erica. Is that half the time they're telling everybody that these folks are buying steak and lobster on it, and the other half of the time they're telling them that they're buying Little Debbie snack cakes by the truckload and eating themselves into obesity. These are the two extremes of that conversation. Instead of people use SNAP and food assistance to try and get a sprinkling of enough food for their family, which makes their life tolerable when they're impoverished, as somebody who got the blue ticket at the school lunch line versus the white ticket at the school lunch line. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So thanks for the laughs. I can't take any credit. These people are, I don't know what's happening. All right, now let's jump in and for the next little bit, Stephen K. Bannon. The K is for the other 2 Ks that are missing. And he interviews Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. God help us. By the way, this is going to be boring as fuck. And I'm totally going to bail out at the end of the show because none of us needs to, like, there are going to be no surprises.
My fellow.
Oh, wait, I've got to jump to the, hold on, this page first. Oh, and by the way, all this is about is selling his book. He needs the money so bad that he's agreeing to these things.
Americans, this is your all-time favorite president, Donald J. Trump. Over the last
Donald J. Trump, I love it. So good.
I've corresponded with some of the most incredible people, from presidents to kings and queens, and from Hollywood stars to business.
Jeffrey Epstein.
My new coffee table book, Letters to Trump, published by Winning Team Publishing, features some
Winning Team Publishing. They dumped the 45books.com.
these never-before-seen letters.
These are such good letters, and you've never seen them. And I'm basically having a fire sale of everything about me because I'm broke as fuck.
You're gonna love reading it. You're gonna
No, I'm not.
love having it. Get your
I have it. Look at the children. Oh my God, so exciting. I could almost feel like if we finish the book, Papa's going to let us eat.
copy today at 45books.com. I think you'll really, really love it.
We're here in historic Mar-a-Lago in the...
Historic Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, right up there with the Bates Motel and the tower that Howard Hughes lived in.
Library. I'm honored to be...
In the library. Oh, okay. That's why I don't see any books.
Joined by the 45th President of the United States and soon to be the 47th President of the United States. President Trump, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This book...
Thank you. So good. And... Hold on, I got to turn this up a touch. This book is so good, and you wouldn't sit with me unless I agreed to sell it.
I think for people that know and love you is what people have been waiting for. Because it shows you prior to you being president.
Yeah, the thing that people have been waiting for in regard to a book from you is a book you had nothing to do with writing. I think when people ask me which Trump book should I get, and I go, none of the ones he's had any involvement in writing because ass.
President. And you've got what I call the great and the good of the late 20th century and early 21st century. And it's everywhere. It's entertainment, it's media, it's sport.
Yeah, he's saying all these things, but look, Steve Bannon putting 2 sentences together. Huh?
Religious figures, and you've got,
none of the notes Jeffrey Epstein slipped to you. Why those didn't make the cut, or is that for the next version?
To you, your correspondent back, the great photography, but then the special is your commentary and observations.
Yeah, his commentary and observations, which are recorded into the binding of the book. So as you open it, it's like he's sitting there interfering with you looking at it.
How did you come up with the idea? Why did you want to do this?
How did you come up with the idea? Well, Don said, "We're broke, Dad. What else can we sell?" And I was like, "Your mom?" And they're like, "No, we already buried her at the golf course."
So a group of people got to see in my office. I have stacks and stacks of letters from really famous people.
Yes, you're a hoarder. We get it.
And they say very diverse, okay? Very diverse.
It's a diverse. That's a word that I normally hate.
Like actors and crazy people.
Boxers.
Probably, I shouldn't say this, probably mobsters. And, we had sort of everyone. Yeah, boxers. But we had...
Scumbags, pedophiles, shitty people like you, Steve. Lots of notes from you. Every time I turn around, there was another one on my desk.
Everybody.
Everybody.
And Richard Nixon and politicians.
Who was kind of all of those things.
Famous politicians and some really good ones. And very
yeah, not him, but yeah.
Personal letters. And they saw this and they said, "You got to be..." And they started looking. And Sergio, who you just had on, is terrific.
Fantastic.
He is so is. Sergio is great. Sergio Aragonis, everybody.
He started looking at these letters. He said, "These letters are incredible." I had 2 women.
Who hasn't?
Norma, who passed away, but she was with me for many years, and she was a fantastic woman. And she worked with a young woman named Rona Graff. And between the two of them, they loved to save letters. And
They saved them for him. His assistants filed these away.
letter was saved and preserved and beautiful.
They're so beautifully saved and preserved. And neither one of them, interestingly enough, as bad as I would treat them, wiped their ass with them as far as we know.
Beautiful and wrapped up. And
wrapped up.
All of a sudden, we saw these boxes full of letters. And
we're like, okay, we could sell these. We can't sell the classified documents because they'll see.
Sergio and his staff, they went through them. They said, you're not going to believe some of these letters.
You're not going to believe some of these letters that you got addressed to you. Why not? You're not going to believe some of the letters that you got.
Like getting a letter from Rosie O'Donnell, who was in love. I don't want to say that in the true sense of the word love, but, you know, she really...
When you were a goofball, nobody gave a shit. When you were unimportant, people weren't aware of you partying with Jeffrey Epstein and other scumbags like Dershowitz.
They liked me a lot. Whoopi Goldberg.
No, these are acquaintances, by the way, in media, who will write nice things in general until they find out otherwise.
Everybody, by the way, Alec Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, it's all this kind of graciousness.
Yeah, they're gracious people. And then they go, oh, this guy's actually a fuckhead.
Attitude in class before. Well, not just running for office, because.
And no, not just running for office. It wasn't that you ran for office. Some of them were expecting it. It's what they found out about you when you did.
We got Cuomo. We're talking about that. It's what you stood for when you ran for office.
Yeah.
No, I think it's probably the Access Hollywood tape and you're like all the shit they found out about you, like barging into the dressing room of Miss Teen USA. Fucked up stuff like that.
That's what separated out. I want to go just to some of I think some of the ones the best at the beginning.
Choice. Yeah, don't delve too far into it.
Talk to me. Phantom of the Opera just closed. Yeah. New York City is a very different place today. Do you agree?
Much different.
You were.
Yeah, now you can't be a psychopath with a fucked up face, wearing a mask, doing musical anymore. Those days are gone. Crime is everywhere. Most people look like that.
There's a letter and a couple letters here from Andrew Lloyd Webber. Were you there opening night or close to opening night?
Opening night, yeah.
Opening night. Did you?
Yeah, I was there. Like somebody else bought the tickets.
Did you know at the time? Tell me about the experience. Did you know that this was going to be a landmark production?
Well, no.
Of course I did. Yeah.
Nobody does. You know, Broadway is hit and miss. They say the worst investment you can make is a Broadway play because they always fail. But
so you're a good judge of quality.
When you hit, it's big. Okay, when you hit, it's almost bigger than hitting a big movie. In fact, some people say it's bigger.
Yeah, some people do. Some people don't. Some people say they're not interested. Oftentimes, I mean, the more categories you give them for their level of interest in the question, even you'll find.
And I had a lot of respect for him. He lived in Trump Tower with Sarah Brightman. They fought like hell. This was not made in heaven. She always wanted the windows open, but it's an old glass building. You have to keep them closed.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, she always wanted the windows open, but the windows don't open.
Because the letters, your observation, she was an opera singer.
She was a singer, great
singer. She wanted it open to sing.
She wanted for her voice.
Because it was dry in there and the building was shitty. And sorry, this is too loud. I'm going to bring it down a touch.
It's a very
fresh air.
Fresh air.
In New York? All right, I call bullshit.
She didn't want perfect air. She wanted fresh air, but
she didn't want perfect air. She wanted fresh air because she was, artists.
Fresh air from New York, so she was happy. Fifth Avenue, the cars, everything.
But it's a glass tower.
It's an all glass tower. We have window washers that go up and they blast the hell out of the glass. And like
you're very particular about how the building's clean.
Oh yeah. I always keep things clean. I like cleanliness, right? So that's why I get sick when I look at New York and what's happened so badly. But so we have these beautiful.
Yeah, New York's never been dirty or nasty in its history or whatever. It's gone all downhill. Did you see those pictures of Like, you can't even see the hosts on Fox anymore. The pictures are just covered in grime.
The window washers, they go up mechanically and they just blast everything, but all the windows are closed. We say, please never have your window open, please, please. But she didn't care about that. She wanted open for her voice. And
what a bitch. You know what I mean? What's wrong with her? Opera singer, married to Andrew Lloyd Webber, caring about her voice. It's disgusting. She should do what she's told.
This window washer goes up, and every time we'd pass their apartment, they'd have a window open, and they would just...
And they're hitting it with the high pressure.
Yeah, and she was not happy. This was... she'd be rehearsing, and she'd get wiped out. It got to a point, I don't even think they rebuilt or repainted, because she just insisted on it. She used to complain all the time. And you know what? She was very nice, but she wanted to have outside air.
What an asshole.
And I said, why don't you move into a different building, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Like, why don't you... I don't even like your husband's stuff. Why are you here? I could sell this to a Chinese mafia guy, like, in a heartbeat.
We're a glass tower, a beautiful glass tower. But anyway, they were married, and she was a big star. She was the star of Phantom.
Yeah.
But no, it's just interesting, because I'm a big fan of Phantom of the Opera and others.
Did you know as soon as...
I love Phantom of the Opera. My Act 2, 2 Corinthians is my favorite
The first
song.
night you saw it, there was going to be something special, because you fell in love with this, particularly certain music.
So it's like politics, like anything. You never really know, but this thing was special. So he wrote me a letter, which I have in here, and it's, Dear Donald, essentially saying...
Essentially.
I'd love you. This is when people love me. I used to get invited to everything. I was invited to that.
And then they saw the video of you partying with Epstein after he was busted, and they were like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, fuck that guy.
Anna Winter thing that she does at the museum.
The Metropolitan Museum, the Super Bowl of fashion.
Well, and in all fairness, this asshole would show up whether he was invited or not.
The day I ran for politics, I said, has the invitation...
The day I ran for politics. The day I ran for politics. What do I know? The best words.
Come in. Haven't seen any, sir. But I got the best table. I was the king of that thing. And then all of a sudden, you go cold turkey, which is okay. And it's over politics. And all I want to do is make America great again. When you think about it, make America great, America first. Why are people so opposed to that?
Because you weren't. Because your idea of greatness is off-putting and full of shit, that it was not true, and that you were actually, it was an attack on the very thing that makes America a great country, is that it's not ethnically, monolithic society.
I don't even think they know why they're opposed. But anyway, so...
No, I think it's the whole grab 'em by the pussy thing, and just being stupid and sucking up to Vladimir Putin, and having a computer in your basement at Trump Tower contacting the ones in Russia, and having Russian mobsters and human traffickers operating out of your building and shit like that.
I look at this beautiful letter I get from Andrew Lloyd Webber, who was big before Phantom, but nothing like Phantom. And he did Jesus Christ Superstar, which was another great one. He did a lot of great things. But he said...
He did. But, I mean, to me, he was just another tenant.
Because he lived in the building at Trump Tower, he knew me a little bit. And he said, I'd love to have you as my guest. I'm opening up a musical called The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, my God. You almost could have told this part of the story at the beginning, and we wouldn't be as bored. No, it'd still be boring. You're right.
Oh, so let's...
And I was like, oh, okay. Whatever, Andy.
So I say on the letter, okay, I'll go. And anyway, we went. And it opens with the chandelier and this. You've been there, right?
Yes,
You've seen
yes,
it.
yes.
Do you agree? It's like...
First time I saw it, shocks you when the chandelier drops.
No, but the whole thing was
The whole
great.
magnificent.
It was a great, great musical. He said, but
so great.
I'm opening a musical called Phantom of the Opera. And I'm saying to myself, all right. Now, I get many letters like that. I still get letters like that, except it's a little hard when they make you put masks on and do this thing. I mean, I think Broadway, you still have to, it's brutal. It's brutal. I mean, if you had a Broadway theater right now, it just is just...
Well, plus the city. What's happened to the city?
Plus what's happened to the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like New York right now looks like, well, not quite as bad as it was in the late 70s, because that was hell. Or early 90s. So probably like 86, more, with a little bit of 83 thrown in.
Look, it just closed after, what, 40 years? This letter is inviting you to open.
This letter is old.
Opening night. The reason I want to start with that, it just closed last week.
Yeah, no, it did.
Yeah, thanks for tying that in, Steve. It certainly wasn't because it was an interesting story.
It did. It was very sad.
Because of what's happened to the city.
It was very sad. Yes, Phantom of the Opera closed after 40 years because the city is ass. As a matter of fact, most of the people in the city look like the Phantom of the Opera, so nobody understands the concept anymore.
I know why it closed beyond that, but I think it's, you know, you got to have a lot of things going right, and they get so politically correct. But it did close, and I would think it's very hard to open on Broadway, have anything on Broadway. But Phantom was one of the greatest of all. So,
good Lord.
I go in and I see this music. I said, this thing is unbelievable. It didn't take long because the music is so good. By the time we had intermission, it was like, I said, this thing is incredible.
And I don't even understand the story.
And by the end, you know, with the whole thing, with the gondolas and the candles and the whole thing coming out.
Yeah, the piano and the something, and then she's there, and then there's a guy, and it was fabulous, and something. I remember the program.
And the great music. And we play.
There was great music. Yeah, sure.
Play a lot of that music. I mean, I go to places when we want background music. That's beautiful. It's great. Everybody likes it. But you go there, and it's opening night for one of the most.
When he does events, he's trying to say that he has them play the music from Phantom of the Opera as background music at his events. No, he does not.
Successful plays, musicals ever, I would say. Maybe the most, but certainly one of the most.
Thanks. Just nailing it. This is like Shithead and Ebert.
And it was sort of cool to see a letter where I'm opening a show on Broadway. It's a
You're not opening a show on Broadway. You were invited because you live in his fucking building, dummy. And the dude is trying to suck up to you a little bit so that your power washers don't shoot his wife in the face with a jet of water while she's warming up. The fuck?
It's called Phantom of the Opera, and it's Andrew Lloyd Webber. And I said, okay, I'll go. And
this is so good. This story gets better the more he tells it.
Go, and you know, you think.
And then you go there and you're like, why am I here?
That's a long time ago. You feel young. I still feel very young. And I watch other people. By the way, when they talk about Biden being old, he's not old. I have friends that are 85, 90, 90.
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
You look at Bernie Marcus, he's 100%, he's 94, 95.
Sharp as ever.
Biden's not old. That's not his problem. He's got other problems, but he doesn't have old problem.
He doesn't have old problem. He doesn't. When I ran for politics, and Biden doesn't have old problem.
But yeah, I think they like to say that for other reasons. You know, like to say
he's got a big problem now because you've given him a nickname.
Well, I've
yesterday
changed.
was a big day.
I changed. I decided that.
The whole retiring Hillary cook at Hillary.
I decided that Hillary's cooked.
Letter.
They came. A lot of people came. That maybe you're sort of saying, "Can you try and leave me out of that whole deal?" But it was a beautiful wedding. They were there. They couldn't have been nicer. We had
Wait, hold on,
letters in here.
They came. A lot of people came.
Hold on.
He had a real relationship with you.
They were at my wedding. They were at my wedding to Melania when we got married in Palm Beach. They came. A lot of people came.
Hold on.
I never felt the Crooked Hillary was a great name. I
The Clintons,
accurate,
maybe.
But it never flowed like some of the other
You have
names.
letters in here from Bill Clinton. You talk about Bill.
I do.
Clinton.
No, I liked him.
He had a real relationship with you.
They were at my wedding. They were at my wedding to Melania when we got married in Palm Beach. They came. A lot of people came. Maybe you're sort of saying, "Can you try and leave me out of that whole deal?" But it was a beautiful wedding. They were there. They couldn't have been nicer. We had a very good relationship. I used to play golf with Bill Clinton. I have a club, Westchester, in Westchester, that's fantastic.
Super good. It's great.
Great photograph in this book.
Autumn, great. Yeah, it's a great picture of them, golfing.
At Westchester with Bloomberg, Clinton, yourself, the whole group for a round. Well, Bloomberg loved me too until I ran. Bloomberg called me and said, "Could you do me a favor? Could you take over this golf course that's been under construction for 28 years?" It was a project.
You got mob money, right?
In the Bronx. Right. I took it over. I got it done in 9 months. It was under construction.
Jesus Christ. He looks like another... Giuliani's there too. Like they're just like hanging out together. Like, hold on, I gotta scroll. I gotta move this down so you guys can see. Look at this shit. It's a douche nozzle gathering. Went golfing. They're all together for some sort of charity golf thing.
29 years, and he was embarrassed by it. I did a great job with it. And we opened it, Jack Nicklaus.
It's a public links. People,
it's a public course.
The MAGA deplorables, the average citizen could go play that course.
No, it is. It's in the Bronx.
Yeah, because they're big golfers.
I did it as sort of a favor to him. I said, all right, I'll do it. I said, fellas, look, you've been screwing the city for 29 years. It's time we get this thing built. You know, they were rough guys, too. These were guys that were, even you don't want to know them, okay? These were rough guys, but they were good. I said, let's get it done. Let's get it done. And I got it done in a year, built a beautiful clubhouse, everything top of the line. And then...
with other people's money. And it was already signed on to.
They never really appreciated it. By that time, Bloomberg was gone. But I did it because Bloomberg asked me to do it. I had a very good relationship with Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah, rich dickheads tend to hang out.
But then he went crazy. Something happened to him. And, you know, when he... went away from his policy of guns, you know, what he was doing with the gun stuff, which basically was started by Rudy. Look, Rudy was the greatest mayor in the history of New York.
He means stop and frisk.
And the crimes, I mean, I don't know how
you were there. You were there when the city started.
Oh, God, this is fucking dull.
To collapse.
I saw it all.
You were there when the city started to collapse. I blame him, too. Started to collapse. Jesus Christ. Hold on one second. Started to fucking collapse. Hold on. New York in the 70s. Let's see. Hold on. Theater. This is hold on. Get back up here. I'm grabbing some footage. 1 second. Hold on. I want to show you something if I can find it. Let's see. 1970. Here you go. Hold on 1 second. This is some my footage. Okay, this is just some footage here. This is New York, and then there's people getting in. There's crowded stuff. They look. Oh, there's the buses with like tagged buses everywhere. She's gonna get a run in her hose. That lady. Talking to a cab driver about the crime in the city. Hold on 1 second. Let me find some. Where is it? Let's see. Where is it? Street justice, the Bronx. All right, hold on. There you go. This is the Bronx. There you go. This is here you go. This is during the time that the son of Sam was killing people. That's New York in the 70s. You know, the heyday. Yeah, there you go. The Bronx. Good stuff. It's looking good. Fort Apache, the Bronx, where every cop has a mustache. So
collapse. I saw it come back. Rudy started.
I saw it collapse. I saw it come back and then collapse again.
Now it's collapsing again. Yeah, now it's at a level. And the one thing that's different, we had a very powerful police force that wasn't being utilized. Now many of those great policemen and women have left and gone to Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah, and it's really awful because they, you know, when they tell people to go fuck themselves and they forget where they are, you know, and like, we don't do it that way around here.
Florida, many states, and they're leaving. And and you have some great people, but they're looking to leave. They're not being treated with respect. In New York's...
Yeah, New York cops have always been respected heavily. They've never had to confront large mobs of people fighting back against them. I don't know what it must be brand new to them. It must be a shock.
And we love them, and I love them. You know, they endorsed me for president. They've never done that before. It was a big deal at the time. They endorsed me for president. And
it was the union, not the
day that we had when they did that, because it's never happened before. They didn't even know if they were allowed to do it, but it didn't matter to them. They gave me the most beautiful award. They had me Man of the Decade, a whole thing with the New York finest. They were never treated properly, and they were never allowed to do, meaning over the last 10 years, they were never allowed. De Blasio
out of the last 10 years
was a disaster as a mayor. They hated it. Remember when he was making a speech and the police all turned around with their back is facing de Blasio? He was so bad to the police. And
unlike you,
many of them have left. And
they didn't want to come to some of the funerals. Remember that? They had a big controversy about that.
No, de Blasio was so bad. It's not even thinkable how bad he was. And
yeah, I can't even think about it.
It started there, and it's just, you know.
Does that hit you especially?
Couldn't edit this? Maybe tighten it up a little?
Especially because you're from Queens, but you went to New York and made it to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Because your dad had business there?
What's happened to this great city that you were so much a part? The late 20th century, starting in the 80s, you were everywhere. And you can tell by this book. This is the power, by the way. Go to 45books.com, promo code WAR, you get free.
There's a little timer in the corner. If I don't mention it, he leaves.
Shipping. This is a must-have. A great Mother's Day gift, a great Father's Day gift. The quality of MAGA.
If you hate your mother and father,
because here's one of the things about this about the book that's so incredible. And you've got Sean Connery, you've got Michael Douglas,
very rich, very good college, good golfing college, and he wanted to be a professional golfer. And his college, whatever it was, Duke or some college, but
Jesus Christ, I don't know who these people are.
They played Wake Forest, and he got to play. He was the #1 player in his team. He got to play Arnold Palmer, who was the #1 player in Wake Forest. And Mark McCormick was really good. He was better than a scratch player. That's very good. And he heard about Arnold Palmer, but, you know, he figured he's just the best player in that team, and, you know. So they played through 9 holes, and his friend called over in the fairway, Mark, how are you playing? He said, I cannot play better. I'm playing great. How are you doing? I'm 7 down. You know, he's 7 down after 9. He said, I can't beat this guy. And
such a good story. I feel like I was there. I laughed, I cried. It became a part of me.
He lost the match, you know, it was over after about 11 holes or something. And
something like that. It's so funny.
He comes back,
11 and 8 or whatever.
He realized that he's never going to be able to beat Arnold
I got to get
Palmer.
another line of work.
Right. No, he said, you know,
I'm never going to be able to beat this guy.
This isn't going to work out. He's longer, he's stronger, he putts better, he chips better. There's not a thing he doesn't do much better. He said, I could play this guy 100 times, I could never beat him. So now he realizes, you know, Arnold Palmer then went over and he won the U.S. Amateur, and then he became a pro, and right from the beginning. But, you know, he was...
And then he started mixing iced tea and lemonade. I get it. I know the story.
Guy, very powerful guy. Arnold Palmer is a great story because his father...
Oh, boy. Help me.
Worked at Latrobe. It's a golf course, a very...
oh, that's interesting.
You know, at the time, very sort of middle-of-the-rung golf course. And
yeah.
He was a...
I'm riveted.
He carried grass because he was a very powerful man.
Yeah, and grass is heavier than, say, even weeds.
They call him a sod carrier. Can you believe it?
To his face.
He carried sod on his shoulders because he...
and he was... you know, they've rednecks and dirt shoulders, and it was a battle between the two of them, and they would start dancing, and somebody pulled a knife, and it was all over.
So powerful.
He carried sod on his shoulders. He was so powerful and dirty. Did I mention dirty?
Arnold was a very powerful man. You know,
he did. He couldn't carry sod, but yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is. Arnold was like a blacksmith. His arms were strong. He was.
He was a blacksmith. His father was a sod carrier, and it just was in the genetics. It was in his genes.
He was quite a man. And Arnold would practice with his father after the club was closed.
After carrying the dirt. Okay.
And they couldn't afford even a golf club. So they'd go in and use the members club in the evening. They'd take a members club, and Arnold became a great golfer.
It's a great story. So I'm fucking... I was going to take a nap later, but I feel like I'm going to be staring at the ceiling, reliving every brisk, exciting, zesty moment.
And he won the U.S. Amateur. He turned pro. He immediately did well. He bought the club, and he made his father the manager. Isn't that great? You know, it's like, to me, it's like one of the great stories.
He made his father the manager. He put his dad to work. He could have just let his dad retire. His dad, it could have been the story that, his dad wanted to be the manager, so he let him take care of the place. But he just paid him because he loves him and is his dad, and he would hang out there all the time and tell stories. And nope, he made him carry sod.
Great stories, but that's one of the great stories. But
it is one of the great stories. Of all the great stories, it's one of the greatest.
Arnold was a special guy. So Arnold was a very rich guy. So Mark McCormick lost badly, and he realized after that he could never be a pro, because they're just much better. That little elite group of people, there's a big difference, believe me, I know very well. And so what happens is he said to Arnold, I think you're going to be a great star. I'd like to sign you because I've always wanted to do it. And he gave Arnold a piece of the agency, IMG. Arnold was a very rich guy. He owned a piece of the Golf Channel. Everyone wanted to do it. It was the early years. And
first guy really flying a jet, had his own jet.
He had his own jet. In fact, he asked me a question. He said to me, because I became very friendly with Arnold later on, when he was older, he said, I bought a beautiful jet, and they all want me to finance it. They give me all these financing options. Should I finance it? I said, well, do you need the money? No, I don't. I'd rather just pay cash. I said, you're doing it right. Pay cash. You don't have to listen to these geniuses. You don't need to borrow money. I'll never forget it. It was like,
it's great, super exciting, and it worked out, right? He wasn't able to write off the payment on the planes, and it ended up costing him about $1 million more than it would have normally. Terrific advice.
I said, "You need the money?" No, I don't want to do that. They want me to finance the plane. I don't want to put debt on the plane. I said, Arnold, do what you're doing. If you don't need the money, it was sort of funny, but Arnold.
Sort of funny. It was almost a funny story. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Flew his own plane.
I'm shocked. This book is going to sell like fucking hotcakes. Can you imagine if this was the book on tape? Read by the author, just rambling.
But Arnold was a great guy, and
was he a great guy? Was he rich though? Did he have a plane? Did he put his dad to work? He
became an owner of IMG. He was one of the original owners.
So you said,
I think it was just Mark and Arnold. Arnold was.
Yeah. So apparently he owns part of the Golf Channel. I hear.
The first client at IMG. IMG became the biggest agency. I mean, Mark McCormick did a phenomenal job. He was very good at that. He was better at that than he was.
Isn't that the part of the agency that represented you? Was it?
They had,
Then they buy.
I think they bought William Morris.
Yes,
and they did that, but that was later. But the initial IMG was owned by Arnold Palmer and Mark McCormick. And
oh my God, who gives a fuck? Jesus Christ, this is insane. This is the craziest Trump video ever. I have never been this bored in my life. He's selling a book. This is supposed to entice you to get all excited about the book and buy it, which will never happen. Holy hell.
McCormick did a phenomenal job.
Did he do a phenomenal job? Was he part of IMG and he was friends with Arnold Palmer and he was like, I can never beat this guy? And they played and he chips better. And they're fucking.
He died during an operation.
Sorry, that's not funny that he died during an operation. It's just like what Trump's fixated on. I'm not going under the knife. That's how Mark McCormick died.
Actually, he did a fantastic job.
Actually, Arnold.
Not in the operation, obviously.
Arnold passed away during the 2016 campaign. I remember you were gracious saying you wanted to attend the funeral, but you realized with the intensity of the campaign, it would bring a circus to this.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I would have done that in 2 seconds, and
I wasn't invited, but
up the family, and because it was just great people. He was married to Winnie, totally in love with her. So it took him years to recover.
When she passed away.
And then she passed away, and then
It took him years to recover from the wedding? Or after she...
5 or 6 years later, he met another woman who was absolutely great, but Arnold was having a very hard time, and, you know, with that whole thing.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What whole thing? His wife died 5 years earlier, and he was still lonely. What the fuck?
He was a great gentleman and a great man, and many.
But great. So you're saying I'm getting the great gist. Shit.
He did a
great thing.
You know, then.
No, I don't know.
Jack came along. Arnold did a great job, and then Jack came along, and Jack was able to beat Arnold. You know, Jack was longer and he was younger and
Different
lots of
game.
things. And Jack went through.
Jack was longer and lots of things, and Arnold was mourning the death of his wife with his and that whole thing.
A little hell because nobody wanted him to beat Arnold. Arnold was Arnold. But
that's true. Arnold was Arnold. That's if you can say anything about him. That's it. Jack was Jack.
Phenomenal, and he spoke with his clubs. You know, he didn't speak like our friends in the world of politics. They only speak with their mouth, not with their brains, not with anything else. But Jack spoke with his clubs. He was phenomenal, and Jack said.
This is painful.
Another one, a Gary player. You meet great people, whether it's golf or other sports, but a lot of those people are represented in the book.
In the book, did you realize at the time, because I'm going to talk about some of the politicians and did they have the right stuff? Did you realize at the time, because if you see the letters and you see the communication, there's graciousness, gratitude, true friendship.
Yeah.
Even maybe sometimes you didn't know them that well, you'd done things for them. There's a line of demarcation. November 8th of 2016, the day you win, on that, what you stood for.
That's not true. As a matter of fact, his shitty statement on his first day of his campaign drove most people away. And then the Access Hollywood tape and all that other stuff started to come out. And everybody, even the people who kind of knew he knew Epstein and that kind of shit, were kind of like, well, that guy hooks up with everybody.
For his America.
But they were like, oh, no, you hung out with him after he was busted for child molestation. So, yeah, you were cool with it.
In MAGA. Is that the line of demarcation in your life? Did many of the people that you...
It was the tip of the spear, the armor-piercing shell, the line of demarcation, the 69th parallel.
Known and they respected you and you had relationships with. Did that end because of your finally turning to politics?
Yeah, maybe earlier. I think it more with the announcement rather than...
Yeah, right? When you were a racist fuck?
The day of the victory. That was a great victory.
The day of the victory.
That was a victory like nobody's ever seen before.
What are you talking about? It was very average.
Well, let's face it. You happened to be there in the room sitting right next to me, so you know it better than anybody, but was that the wildest evening ever?
Incredible.
And I think if
glory days.
we do it again.
His little young girl's eyes, glory days.
Story about President Obama telling you about remember, they keep telling him, hey, we got a firewall in North Carolina.
No, I could tell that story. It's a little long, but we have the...
You could tell that story. It's a little long. Motherfucker, you just spent 20 minutes on 2 minutes of Andrew Lloyd Webber and 18 minutes of Arnold Palmer without ever mentioning iced tea and lemonade like an asshole.
Carolina, we got this. We're going to win Florida. We're going to do this. It was actually about Bill Clinton, with Bill Clinton. And we'll tell that story, Phil. But I think it was one of the greatest. And I think if we win in 24, I think it's going to be...
When we...
yeah, you look great. You look like you're ready. You look better than ever. You look spry and excited. You could tell by the look on his face, this is a man who's ready to win, especially with the squinchy right eye and the kind of droopy, overall sort of miserable demeanor every time the idea of being president again comes up. And then somebody goes, if we win again.
We win in 24.
Yeah,
the country can't.
So.
The country can't take.
I don't think it can take it. No, I don't think. I don't think we're going to have a country.
You know this as a businessman.
Yeah,
correct?
I don't think. Well, even as a politician,
which I guess I am.
They've weaponized, you would know this very well, they've weaponized the Justice Department.
Why would he know? You fucking pardoned him for ripping off your supporters, dum-dum.
Weaponized the FBI.
Who?
They're doing things that a communist country would do, a Marxist country would do. It's a very sad
Did you
thing.
ever think this country would get to that?
I never thought it would be that bad.
And you
Don't
dealt with
forget-
some tough.
I never thought I would ever be deal with the consequences of my actions. I mean, what the fuck is the point of being a second generation rich kid New Yorker if you can't dodge every possible comeuppance in life?
I said, we will never have a socialist country. And I was right. We skipped that station. We went right into Marxism or communism.
Explain them the difference, if you would, please. Yeah, we're all standing in line every fucking day for toilet paper.
What's going on is
What is going on?
sick.
It's sick.
And what they do is they're unbelievable at cheating on elections. With you, I don't have to worry about saying that because, you know, if you say that on Fox, they want to cut you out. They cheated on elections.
Well, that's because they have money to make, and they want to keep their network on the air, and they just lost $800 million because of that bullshit.
Had Rupert Murdoch backed his people, he wouldn't have had any liability.
Nope.
When he went out and said there was nothing wrong with this election.
There wasn't.
What a thing to say. I mean, if you just look last week with the FBI and what happened with the FBI and Twitter, or the FBI and Facebook, where they told them what to say.
They didn't tell him what to say. And you were running the country when this allegedly happened.
And they said, don't talk about the laptop. If you look at the intelligence.
They never said, don't talk about the laptop. They specifically never said that. Just to clarify.
Agents, how about that? The 51 intelligence agents talking about Hunter Biden and saying it was Russian disinformation. I always think, what do you think Putin is saying when every week they came up with another thing? Russia, Russia, Russia. They never blamed anything on China because they were all getting rich from China.
Well, Rudy bought the hard drive from Russians. I mean, obviously, there's a chance the hard drive itself could have been assembled in China, but that's basically
One
it.
way you can tell he's illegitimate is the lack of respect that they have for him throughout the world.
Boy,
he goes to you went to.
Boy, they don't respect him at all. Like, did you see in Ireland when he came out? They played rock music instead of "Hail to the Chief," and he was like smiling. They were all these like grotesque, like everybody was clapping, and it's just embarrassing.
So we went to Saudi Arabia. I mean,
And you rubbed a glowing orb.
The military's out. The thing they go, he's in an SUV with a fist bump. The mullahs don't respect him. The KGB.
The mullahs don't respect him. I don't think they like him or feel that he's malleable. So why put up in the effort if he's not going to buy your bullshit?
In Moscow doesn't respect him.
Well, you know, the fist bump.
She, who's right here for the
Yeah.
historic
Oh, he
summit,
was-
no respect for him.
Spent 3 days here, and we had we developed a great relationship. Now, once COVID
Yeah. I mean, you guys slept in the same bed the entire weekend.
came, it was like, you know, that was a step too far.
You think it was too much? Like I was willing to let them, I was like, you could kill 20,000 Americans, but then at some point,
I mean, that cost the world millions of lives and about $60 trillion. So nobody can ever pay for that, the lives and $60 trillion. But they'll pay something. They'll pay something.
yeah, like a tip.
You know, I got.
Would you demand reparations from China in a second
some
term?
form? You can't. There's no such thing as $60 trillion. You could add 20 Chinas. Okay, you can't. But they cost the world.
The United States has a $24 trillion economy. And believe me, the land is worth that much. The idea, like he's just making shit up.
Figured
Never
it
mind.
cost $60
I don't even know why I take it seriously. It's my fault.
trillion dollars worldwide, and millions and millions of lives. What came out of the Wuhan lab? You remember? I was the first one to say. I said it came from the Wuhan lab. Everyone said, "What's the Wuhan lab?" And I
Yeah, that's what they
never
said.
veered from that. I never veered from
The last week
anything.
of January 2020, for the first time in American history, you stopped travel from China and also put them in quarantine. That's
right.
Remember,
After 40 other countries had already done
you
it.
had the huge fight.
That's
Fauci and the guys in the National Security Council
They didn't want to do that.
Didn't want to do it. Remember, they said it doesn't make any difference. Is there any doubt in your mind that, and when I get back to the book, was there any doubt in your mind, given the role you were on in 19?
Well, by the way, we've covered this way back in the day, but this has been a bullshit story he's told, and Steve Bannon's told this story the same way. They didn't tell him it wouldn't work. That's all he wanted to do. They were saying, you have to do this and this and this and this and this. We've got to do a lot of serious things because this is fucked up. And he's like, I'll just close the airports and not let anybody fly in. And they were like, no, that won't cover it. And they're going to respond negatively and not let us get in there and develop a cure as fast as possible. That was their concern.
The economy was. No inflation, blue collar.
No inflation.
Workers, non-college graduates getting 10 and 11% pay increases, no inflation.
Most incredible.
Now, hold on. Nobody got 10 and 11% pay increases in 4 years.
What nobody gives you credit for, too, is
unless you got to raise to management.
Quantitative tightening. Yeah. You've got 3% growth. You had a tax thing. And Janet Yellen, she's taken almost $1 trillion off the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. Right. Not quantitative easing, what Biden has done, which juices the system. You put another headwind in to make sure that there wasn't going to be asset inflation. In 19, is there any doubt in your mind, whether they purposely released or inadvertently came from the lab, that the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and Xi wanted to do to make sure that Donald Trump was not reelected president of the United States?
Well, there's always a little doubt. You can't just say definitely. A lot of people think that was true because I was charging them hundreds of billions.
Nobody ever got 10 cents.
Dollars in taxes and tariffs.
That's still true, though.
One deal, not for what phase two. Remember the first deal?
There was no phase two, stupid.
They had the 7 things. They had the deal, and then they go back and say, upon further review, we can't do that.
Oh, he's right.
Yeah, it's almost like there wasn't a deal. What part of art of the deal is no deal, dummy?
Lighthizer deal.
They said, no, we can't. We were getting ready for a closing.
That would have saved the world's economy.
But I got a lot of it done later on.
Yes.
And actually the individual deals, like for instance, I got a trade deal done for the farmers and for the manufacturers.
He was just literally doing a payout to them because he thought he was going to get fucked in rural communities.
Like that's why
he bought everybody off. He was trying to buy votes.
At a poll out of Iowa, we're doing so great. I gave the farmers $28 billion. Steve, I gave $28 billion. In fact, I said about a month
of taxpayer money.
They were saying about, will it be close in Iowa? And I said, it's not going to be close in Iowa. I gave the farmers.
Jesus Christ. Like, I paid these fuckers for their votes. They owe me.
So it's Iowa, Nebraska, the whole Farm Belt. I gave the farmers $28 billion.
Meanwhile, a lot of those farmers got fucking wiped out and had their farms bought out. And then the $28 billion that went in, some of the money went to the people who bought up these family farms. The two Brazilian brothers who aren't even fucking Americans who were buying up farms during this period were getting money.
Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, good guy. I said, Sonny, how much would, because what they did to,
oh my God, the same fucking story. I got to sign off because it's like I'm going to be here all goddamn night. Tomorrow, regular show, 3:00. Holy hell. Can we just enjoy for a second? Let's just try to end on a brighter note that, when Trump came onto the scene riding down his golden escalator and riding on this like tidal wave of free press from Morning Joe to Morning Night, to night watch, late night with, I don't know, whoever. Anyways, being on all these, just basically all the free press you could stand. And then these big rallies and everything. And people were like, oh shit, this crazy guy's, getting 60,000 people in some cases into these things. Most of the time it's 20, 25. They're free events. Take that with a grain of salt, but still a big deal, in terms of political influence at a time when, somebody like Hillary Clinton is running. And then in his comeback run against Biden, not so much. A few of the return places did okay, but a lot of them were winding down to 12 and 10,000, 9,000. And it's the same people over and over again they were having to space them out because people were driving to each one because the same people were at every goddamn one in their RVs. And then now he's doing these it was 8,000, I think was the top out. And then now he's doing the Lee County Republican dinner, and he's doing this book flap with him. Holy shit. And then the next interview is going to be Mike Pillow sitting in front of his staircase or on the John talking into his phone. Am I connected? Can you hear me? It's getting so bad he might be on my show. And on that note, I love you guys. Thank you guys for getting me over the 50K hump. Let's see. Are we over that amount? Let's see. Da-da-da. Taking the thing with the doobity-doo. Now. We go back to YouTube and then go back to my channel and then do the studio. And we are at 50,007. We got 5 more even then. Yay! So thank you guys so much. It's very exciting to clear that up. And clear that mark. I can't speak and read at the same time when it's two divergent thoughts. It's not bright. Anyways, love you guys. I will see you tomorrow at the regular time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No morning show, but Philip will be joining us on Wednesday. Today was his birthday, so everybody wish Philip Ittner a happy birthday, and I will we'll do it in person. We'll sing to him on Wednesday when he's on the show. So take care of yourself, take care of somebody else, and I'm not taking my shirt off after this one. I'll save it up for 100K, maybe even pants. I don't know. It's just that